All right, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, just joining me, welcome. Today, I'm going to demonstrate the way I disassemble my Glock. Field strip is the way most people call it. Mine is a Glock 26 in 9mm, known as the baby Glock. The nearest I can tell from this serial number, it's a late Gen 2. I'm not a Glock expert. I'm sure some people can specify a little bit more on that later, but that's not why you're here. So I'm going to show you a quick breakdown and how to get everything clean, get the slide apart, and so let's just get right into it. Okay, first step, no brass, no ammo. We're going to make sure that it's clear. Chamber's clear, nothing in it. I usually rack it a couple of times just for good measure. Okay, your second step, there is a switch looking assembly here on the side. That is your slide lock. So what we're going to do is you're going to grip the pistol just like you would if you were going to firing it. Place your fingers over the top. It doesn't matter, dominant hand or non. Pull the slide back slightly so that the barrel shows through the front of the slide. Pull down on your slide lock. When you let go of the slide, you're going to feel it come loose just a little bit. When that happens, pull your trigger, your slide comes off. So you have your lower frame. I'm going to set this aside for a minute, and you have your slide. Now, I do not disassemble anything in the lower frame. I've heard whatever that if you're a Glock technician, you should have somebody certified with Glocks, gunsmith, blah blah blah, whatever. Take a look at that. I just give it a good wipe down, get some rags, spray it out with a little break free or whatever your lubricant of choice is. I'm a big fan of rim oil wipes. Wipe it down real good, but I'm going to set this aside for now because I'm not going to clean this gun right now. I'm just going to show you how to break it down. All right, your next step, you're going to remove your guide rod and your recoil spring. That's this piece here. I'm going to set that aside. Your barrel's going to come out next. So you just grasp it by your prongs here and you slide it out. The way it's going to come out this way, the barrel's going to go through the slide. So if you push down on the chamber, it should come right out. So there's your barrel. So the easy part's over. So let's take a look at the slide here. Okay, so the meat and potatoes of getting the slide apart is we have to get the slide cover plate off of here. Now it's under tension. There's several springs in here. The way that we're going to do that is you need a fine point instrument. This is a punch. You don't have to use a punch. You can use a pen. I've seen people use a ballpoint pen or a pencil, mechanical pencil to do this if you've got a small screwdriver or something like that. What we're going to do is we're going to take it and this piece right there, poking through, well, not poking through, but you can just barely visible in the hole right there. That is the firing pin spacer sleeve. We have to push that down. Once you do that, as you can see, there's some grooves on the end of the plate here. We're going to slide it off. Now when you do this, you need to be very careful because of the springs in here. If you just release that and pull the cover off, you're going to have springs flying. I have once in the past, in my younger days, inexperienced days, I did lose a piece that way once. So you need to be very careful when you're disassembling this. When you press down on that sleeve and you remove the plate, that you don't let those springs fly. So we'll try that now. All right, so pushing tension down on the sleeve, and with my thumb I press the slide plate cover. It came right down, so let's see if it'll come out. I'm going to keep my thumb over that. All right, there's your slide cover plate, and there's our pieces inside. So let's go ahead and see. They may need to have a little bit of persuasion. It's always a good idea when you're working in this, whatever space you're in, be sure to have it pointed downward so you don't lose anything. All right, so there's your firing pin spacer sleeve. You've got a firing pin spring there. All right, so your firing pin, you've got your plastic sleeve here, your spring itself, and this little dinky piece there, that's actually two pieces. That's your spring cups. Holds it in place, helps hold it in place on the firing pin. So I'm gonna set this assembly aside. You can definitely take this apart, give it a good wipe down and cleaning. I'm gonna pull out your spring-loaded bearing, which is that little plastic end there, and that's what I lost. I had the 10mm Glock. I can't remember what the model was, and I was taking it apart the first time. That thing went flying, and I never found it again. I had to order one. Your extractor, depressor, spring, plunger spring, and your extractor, depressor, plunger. So let's set that aside. Next order of business, we got to get your extractor out. Your extractor is held in. You have a firing pin safety and a sleeve in there. Let me see if I can get this out with a little spring. Let's get the extractor out first. You may have to push down. Yep, there you go. Push down on that little plunger there. There's your extractor. And the rest should fall out. There you go. All right, and your Glock is field stripped. Grab some Q-tips, some pipe cleaners, maybe a few other odds and ends, whatever you can find, a toothbrush, give it a good wipe down and cleaning. Hopefully you had a good day at the range today. So let's go ahead and get her back together here. We'll just do it in reverse order. So when you put the extractor back in the slide, there's a circular hole there. It will only go one way. If you put it the other way, it's not gonna fit. So right there it is, it's flush. Next thing, we'll drop your firing pin safety and sleeve, and that you may have to work that a little bit so it sits in there. It should sit in there with the extractor inside the slide, so that should be good to go. All right, we're going to take this extractor depressor plunger and its little screw there, slide it back in your smaller hole in the slide right there. And I am filming this outside. I had a change of plans. I was going to do this indoors, but some other things happened, so I'm outside. So you might hear some random bugs or birds or crickets and whatnot. Go ahead and press the firing pin assembly back in there, the spring, the spacer sleeve, all that sort of thing. All right, here's our tricky part. We got to get this plate back on there without losing anything or springs flying out in the open. So your slide plate cover, or slide cover plate, it has grooves. You turn the bolt or the slide this way, you can see them in there. Slide that in there and get it set. So for your firing pin spacer sleeve, you might be able to get it in there with your finger. I got big hands, I don't know. I may have to get some reinforcements here, so I'm going to try to use I recommend when you reassemble this to only do it one piece at a time, so you can just push it just far enough to get that cover on there. So your next piece, let's get our plunger pushed down in there, and then push your plate cover, pull it out, and there you go. You're back together. So we're going to take our barrel, drop it down in there. Remember, that's the action and the way the gun works, so you can just think about that. When it ejects around, it fires in there. So that barrel is meant to slide back and forth. When you insert it, put the barrel in the front of the slide first into the hole, just like so. All right, so we're going to take our guide rod and spring, insert it front first. Now there's two places where this thing can sit under the barrel. We want it to go all the way down in there. So it's sitting 1, 2, in, you're good. Take note that the slide has 2 grooves that run the length of the slide. Your frame has some rails right there where it's going to sit on. So we're going to take it. I mean, it makes sense to me. Let me do it so where the camera can see it. Take your slide, ease her onto those rails. Ease it on the rails, push it all the way back, and your slide lock will click back into place, and you are good to go. Quick functions check. Hopefully you had a good day at the range shooting your Glock. Now you're trying to figure out how to break it down and clean her up. Maybe do a little preventive maintenance checks on some of the internal components. That's definitely a good idea. So this procedure should be similar on most Glocks. I've owned a few myself, and it's the same on all the ones I've owned. I have not had my hands on one of the new single stacks, but I'm pretty certain with Glock's reputation that they're all the same. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this is informative. If you have any suggestions, please leave me a comment below. Any feedback is certainly appreciated. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. And subscribe if you really like it. You'll see more content like this. And thanks for watching.